All right, let's start with the next section. Remember, we're going to review all of the major muscles for this next exam. So Roman numeral 1 was muscles of facial expression. Now we're going to go to Roman numeral 2, muscles of mastication. I think we have 4 muscles to review here, and it's a lot. This is going to get pretty deep. It's going to start to feel like college, so let's get ready. The first muscle of mastication. First of all, what's mastication? Well, that's the science word for chewing. So if we're chewing, what bone is going to be manipulated? Well, there's only one movable bone of the face, and you guys remember this from our bone review. That's the mandible or the lower jaw. So all of these muscles will be inserting somewhere on the lower jaw and allow us to chew. And remember, if I can put my hands out here, you don't chew like this, just slamming your jaw against the upper maxilla. Your jaw goes up and down, and it goes in a circle. So you kind of chew up and down. This allows your tongue to roll the food and allows you to shred and grind at the same time. So not only are we going to have to pull the jaw up to create power and smash your food, we got to go left and right so that those little cusps on your molars can also shred. So let's take a look at the masseter. This is the primary muscle of mastication. This is the one that provides the power. The origin is going to be the zygomatic bone. And I'm going to bring up a picture here in a second, so don't worry about that. That's your cheekbone, so keep that in mind. Okay. The insertion point is going to be the ramus and the angle of the mandible. So let's bring up a picture. I want the picture to come up first. Oh, well. The action, it closes the mouth, which technically, if the mouth closes, the jaw is coming up, so it elevates the mandible. There we go. There's the picture right here. So here is the point of the zygomatic bone right there. There's the tendon. That's the origin. And the insertion is the angle and the ramus. So you can see that muscle sitting right there. So if that's the insertion and that's the origin, which way does the insertion move? Don't say up. Up is not the correct answer. The insertion always moves directly to the origin. So if the origin is here and the insertion is here, then that muscle is going to go straight to the zygomatic bone. As it does, it's going to pull up on the mandible and close the mouth. And this gives you power when you chew. And that's that large one, right? You can just, if you put your fingers right underneath, on the side of your face, right underneath the zygomatic bone, and clench your teeth real hard. Go, I don't know if you can hear my teeth. Go like that, and you'll feel that muscle popping out right there. Real circular muscle, super strong for its size. Okay, B is the temporalis muscle. Now remember, this muscle, we've already heard it, is named for its location. So if temporalis is the location, it's the belly of the muscle, not the ends. So this muscle is going to be sitting right on the side of your head, right above your ears. So put your fingers right above your ears, okay? Real lightly, put your 4 fingers right above your ears like a semi-arc. And then what I want you to do is clench your teeth real hard. You'll feel that muscle moving. You'll feel it. It's pretty cool. Okay? Origin is the parietal bone. That's the largest plate in the skull. The insertion point is the coronoid process. That's that front point on the mandible. And again, I'll bring up a picture here in a second. So what do you think the action is going to be? If it's attached to the parietal bone and it's also inserting on the coronoid process, a couple of things are going to happen here. I really need that picture to come up first. I'll fix that the rest of the way. We'll just deal with it for now since I'm already taping. It's going to elevate the jaw. Which way is elevate? Elevate is going, which way? It's going up. So it's going to pull up on the jaw. Now, think of, why would you have 2 muscles? We already had the masseter pulling up on the jaw. Why would nature add a second one? To do the same exact thing. Well, if you have 2 muscles acting on the same bone, what increases? Power. And power is the key here. If you're going to macerate your food into digestible pieces, not to mention pieces you're not going to choke on. Okay? Now, it also retracts the jaw or pulls it backwards. Retract is any body part going backwards in standard position, going behind you, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay? And it also aids in side-to-side movement because remember, do you have to use both muscles on either side of the midline at the same time? No, you have complete smooth control. You can use right, left, both at the same time, partial, some fibers, not. I mean, you can do whatever you want to get really smooth, versatile contractions. Now let's take a look at this muscle right here. Okay, now here's the coronoid process right there on the mandible. Now if we were in class, I'd actually have an example. I'd have the skull in my hands, but I don't have all my stuff home because I didn't want to bring home my whole classroom, but I digress. So there's the insertion point right there. That's the part that's going to move. And now watch this. This whole line right here on the parietal bone, that is the origin. Now here's the cool part. You do not have to use all of these fibers at one time. So watch. If I put, I'm going to try to come over the camera here. This will work. If I put my finger right there, I can divide this into a front half and a back half. Now look at these fibers right here. They're almost completely vertical. So if you only engaged, my arm's in the way, if you only engaged the front half of that muscle, you did keep this side relaxed and contract that side. Those fibers, look, you can see they're directly above. So which way is the mandible going to go? It's going to go up and the mouth will close. But watch, if I disengage those fibers and I only use these back ones, now notice that the origin here is behind the mandible. So there's the insertion. Here's the origin. Watch this. If I only use these back fibers, then that bone is going to slide backwards. Now, it can't go real far because you can see it's in the rocker right here. But you can retract your jaw and kind of pull your lower jaw under your upper jaw and kind of do like a fake overbite. That's what I'm doing right now, which is why my voice is real funny, because I'm doing a fake overbite. So it can retract the jaw. The jaw can go backwards. Now, let's only contract the left one and not the right one. You can see it's going to pull the jaw to the left. If I engage the right one and not the left one, it'll pull it to the right. So now while you're chewing, not only can the jaw go up and down, it can rock left and right, which creates that circular motion when you chew. And nobody chews like that. That's just weird. Can't do that. So that's how the temporalis muscle works. Real cool. If you have any questions, seriously, just hit me up with an email and we can talk about it. C. Now, we didn't talk about this particular plate. Do you guys remember that bone in the skull that's shaped like a butterfly? It's called the sphenoid bone. Remember, it had that middle body part with that saddle in it called the sella turcica, and then it had two sets of wings called the greater and lesser wings. Well, it also has two sets of legs hanging down, and I'll show them to you. But we didn't really talk about them in class. They're called the pterygoid plates, and that's where that reference is coming from, the legs of the butterfly hanging down, and medial obviously means closer to the midline. So let's take a look at this. The origin is going to be the pterygoid plate. That's the legs of the sphenoid hanging down, and the maxilla, that's the upper jaw. The insertion point is going to be the angle and ramus. Now, you might be thinking, hey, Skirp, we already had a muscle attached to the angle and the ramus, and that was the masseter. Yeah, but that was on the outside. These are going to be attached on the inside of the mandible. Pretty cool. Action. Okay, now watch. It elevates the jaw. Look at all these muscles attached to this mandible to elevate it so you can have the power to chew. Pretty cool. It protracts the jaw or pulls it forward so you can extend the lower jaw, and then you can do this kind of voice, like a little Bill Murray, a little voice like that. Okay? You're probably thinking, who's Bill Murray? Ask your parents, they'll know. And if you only use one at a time, it can rock the jaw side to side. Pretty cool. So let's take a look at this muscle. All right, now, if this would be so much easier if we were in class, but if you look at this, you are looking at the inside of the left side of the mandible. So it's kind of like you cut the head in half and you're looking at the inside of the left. Okay? Here's the angle and ramus. Here's the medial right here. This whole muscle right here is the medial pterygoid. And then you can see right there, there's the origin up on the plate and the maxilla. So that's on the upper jaw. Now, if both of them contract, you can see, watch, we got a little bit, oops, sorry. We got a little, slow down, screws. These fibers are directly above, okay? And then so it's going to elevate the jaw. And then if you use, you can see if we do this one, see right there, there's the insertion point. There's the origin. It's slightly in front. Look, slightly in front. It's not going to move a long ways, but we can protract or pull the jaw forward. And if only one of them contracts, it can rock side to side. Pretty cool. Those are the medial pterygoids. And certainly if you look these things up online, there's tons of videos out there other than mine. All right, let's go to the last one in this set, the lateral pterygoid. And you can see it in that picture. I'm going to bring up the same picture, okay? The origin is the greater wing and pterygoid plate, so we're just moving a little bit more to the outside. And the insertion point is going to be the TMJ, or the temporomandibular joint. This is cool. This muscle actually inserts directly on the joint capsule, where your jaw articulates with the temporal bone of your skull. Okay? What's this one do? Okay, action. It can protract or pull the jaw forward, and this one's really obvious. Okay, it opens the mouth. I'll have to teach you that one. And it also rocks side to side if you use one of them, again, creating that circular motion. Now let's take, this is the same drawing. Okay, there was the medial here. The lateral pterygoid's this one in the back right here. Okay, so you can see it's obviously the origin is in front, so it can protract. It'll pull the jaw that way. When it opens the mouth, it actually puts pressure on the joint cavity and rotates that joint cavity, just pulls it forward. The bone from the mandible hits into the skull because it's rounded. There's nowhere for it to go, and it starts to spin and open the mouth. So it pulls it forward, and when you put enough pressure, it'll spin and open the mouth so that you can talk, eat, do all of those things. And then obviously side-to-side rocking is only if you use one of them. So those are the muscles of mastication, the major muscles of mastication, and we will pick up from there next time.